Welcome back. This is the first card of the year 2026 in the Paramount Era. The UFC is finally back. And after 6 long weeks of constantly just waiting for something to happen, we are back and now we are ready to set the year in could possibly be a good way. The fights are fire. And everybody know this is the Justin Gaethje versus Patty Pimblett fight. And today's video, we're just gonna go down my predictions for each fight. We're gonna start from the bottom to the top, and I'm gonna tell you why, when, maybe if there's gonna be a finish or if it's gonna be a major decision. These are my personal picks from their last previous fights and what I think it's gonna go down. And I won't take up too much of your time, but we're gonna make this quick and transition to the first card, which will be Adam Pimblett versus Ty Miller. All right, so it does look like none of the odds has been posted yet, so we're just gonna have to go through our own knowledge. All right, looking at their currently stats, it does look like Ty Miller is undefeated. He is about an inch taller. Looks like Adam does have a little bit more experience, literally almost having 3 times more experience than he is. This is Ty's first debut. This is Pimblett. His last fight was a loss, both from United States. Very similar in stature and everything that counts. He has a little bit longer legs. I'm gonna go with, let's see, Takeo. He is more of a decision fighter. This guy must have came in super last minute if I'm really thinking about it. Let's see, down the line went by. You know what? Call me crazy. I'm gonna go for Adam. I think having his last fight being a loss, and pretty much this guy's in a debut, he has to make it or break it in this moment. I'm gonna go for Adam for this fight. Moving on, Cameron Smotherman versus Ricky Torcios. Now, this one is a very interesting fight since both of their fights have been through losses. They does seem that they're both kind of in that pressure that one has to win. Now, Ricky and Cameron, knowing their backgrounds here, Cameron looks like he has more power than Ricky. Same percent of sub. Ricky definitely has more of a decision fighter. An average fight usually does go for the distance. Let's see here. Grappling. He has pretty good takedown defense, but he doesn't take any takedown average. He has at least a single takedown. I'm gonna go for Cameron. I think he's gonna able to sleep him. I have a strong feeling that he's just gonna sleep in either in the first or second round. It looks like he's just gonna have a little bit more power. Plus his takedown defense is pretty good. It doesn't look like Ricky's someone who's gonna shoot in general. It doesn't look like he either. I mean, he has a little bit more striking than Cameron. You can see by their percentage of the lineup per minute. So, but I just think that Cameron is just gonna knock him out either in the first or second round. They're built very similar in all the right areas. So, yeah, Cameron Smotherman. Josh Hockett and Denzel Freeman. This is the military dude. This guy's undefeated. He has 1 loss. Their both fights were from both fights. They won their last fights from United States. Built very similar. This boy's a little bit more heavier, has a bit longer reach, and they have a just slightly longer leg reach. I know his last fight was kind of boring. That's kind of got a little bit slack from it. With Denzel Freeman. This is Josh Kosh. I think this is his debut in the UFC, if I'm not wrong. Give me 1 second here. Let's see here. Josh Hockett. We're gonna look up his topology. Sometimes in his videos, I just be out here just saying what is going on. The Incredible Hulk. Undefeated. Most of his wins do come from a finish, actually. He is all finishes. 3 submissions wins and 4 knockouts. So this guy, Josh, does go for the finish. His last fight was actually in the UFC. This is not his debut. I was absolutely wrong. It was actually a right hook, knocked him out in the first round. Denzel Freeman, he is also knockout artist. He has 4 wins by knockout, 1 win by submission, and 2 by decision. And his 1 loss came from a split majority decision. And yeah, his last fight was a decision. It was kind of boring. Man, honestly, by the stats, you could probably think like Josh Hockett definitely is going to win by knockout or anything. But I just think Denzel has a pretty tough chin. And I think Denzel is just going to outwork him to the ground. So I'm going to go for Denzel Freeman in this fight. Now, this is a guy who should honestly, he should be a higher in the prelims. He shouldn't be in the early prelims. This is Michael Johnson, all right? This is a guy we already know and love. He's been in the fight game for so long. I mean, look at his record, right? 25-19. Insane record. Fighting against Alexander Hernandez. Michael Johnson is coming in a 3-fight winning streak. Man, the old dogs, man, I'm telling you, man, it's just a different breed, different generation. I know Alexander Hernandez, how old is he? I think they're similar in age, if I'm not wrong. I mean, Michael Johnson, his last 3 fights were against Darius Flowers, Arman Azatayer, and Daniel Zellhuber. The Zellhuber was actually a sleeper fight. Zellhuber was posted to win, but Michael Johnson came and shut that down. That's my dog right there. But this fight is going to be a very difficult one. The main reason is Alexander Hernandez. He's also been in the game. He's on a 4-fight winning streaks. I mean, Alexander is slightly a bit younger. He's 33 years old. He's still in his prime compared to Michael Johnson, who is obviously, he's about to be 40 years old in the coming months, right? This dude has been in the game for a while. In the last 4 fights for Alexander Hernandez, I mean, he beat Chase Hooper. That was also a sleeper fight where Chase was technically picked to win. But he goes out there, beats Diego Ferreira. Again, another fight that Diego was, he was picked to win against Alexander Hernandez. Man, if I'm being honest, I will never go against my boy Michael Johnson. So I'm going to go for Michael Johnson with this win. I think he's going to either be in by decision. Alexander Hernandez is very tough to finish. I mean, his last time he was finished was by Billy Canantillo, and this was back in 2022. So I think Michael Johnson beats him by decision. Michael's just still fast. He has a phenomenal gas tank, and if he needs to wrestle, he will. But I just think he's just going to beat him by decision and ride on that 4-fight winning streaks. If by any chance Alexander wins, it will be by TKO. His last 2 fights were by TKO and by finish. So I could see him finishing Michael Johnson in the later other rounds. But in the end of the day, I'm going for Michael Johnson. That's my boy. We're going to keep going, and we'll see how far Michael will go. If he loses Michael loses this fight, man, dude, I would think it would be time to hang the gloves, man. You're almost 40 years old. You have tons of damage in your body. But I'm going to go for Michael Johnson. If you want to go for Alexander Hernandez, go for it. He is most likely going to be the favorite just because he has beaten them recently, the better opponents. Michael Johnson's best opponent recently was against Zellhuber. So that's just my personal opinion. But I'm going to go for Michael Johnson in this fight. And this is based off pretty much by biases. Alex Perez versus Charles Johnson. This is a good fight. Charles Johnson is, as well we know, is the last person to beat the current champ against Joshua Van. And Alex Perez, another veteran. That boy has been in the game for a long time. Right now, Charles Johnson is riding on a single win streak. I know there's not even a win streak, but his last win was against Loner Kavanaugh, and he finished him by right hook to the ground punches in round 2. So pretty much a ground and pound. And his fight before that, he did lose against Ramazan Temirov. But before that, in his last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, in his last 6 fights, Charles Johnson has only lost once. Previously before that, he was on a 3-fight losing streak. So he's able to pack up. He is a dog. He is mentally strong. You could definitely tell that from his record right now. He's able to bounce back, win a couple losses in a row, a huge win streak, losses in a row, win streak, loss, win. I like Charles Johnson. He is a tough motherfucker. He finished Joshua Van, and that says a lot because Joshua Van is the current champ. Now, looking at Alex Perez's account, currently right now, Alex Perez is not looking too hot. Out of his last 4 fights, he has 3 losses and 1 win. Last time being a win back in 2024 against Mateus Nicolau. I hate to say it, but I just think Alex Perez, he's just way, way past his prime, man. He hasn't had an actual decent win since back in 2020, and that was 5 years ago. Before that, he had a phenomenal streak all the way from 2016 all the way to 2018. For those 2 years, he amassed 8-fight winning streak. But since then, he had a 3-fight winning streak against Mark De La Rosa versus Jordan Espinosa, Josier Formiga. But his loss against Davison Figueiredo pretty much derailed him. He fought against Davison Figueiredo, the champ, Alexander Pantoja, the champ. And since then, he's just not been able to just put things together. Now, is there anything wrong with that? He is 33. He is currently in his prime. But, man, he is a wear and tear. And you know how they are in the lighter weights. The older you get, just quicker diminished. You're not as fast anymore. Your chin is not as durable. You're going to get out-wrestled and out-gassed against someone who's a lot younger, or at least not as worn out from all the damages that has been throughout the years. So, at least in my opinion, in this fight, I'm going to have to go with Charles Johnson. That dude is still a dog. He still has so much left to prove in the UFC. And, man, hey, look, I'm being honest. If Charles Johnson goes on at least, I would say, 2 more fight wins. We know how the flyweight works, man. Like, you could be ranked number 12 and 13, and you could get a title shot, right? This is his chance to break in the top 15. And this dude is 35, but he doesn't fight like he's 35, right? He is still, he's just an old dog that's still running with the young pups. So I'm going to go for Charles Johnson. I think he wins this. He has 1 more fight by the end of the year. And if Charles Fan is still the champion by the end of this year, I could see Charles Johnson fighting for the title beginning of next year. We move on. Charles Johnson is my pick. Now, this one. Nikita Krylov versus Modesta Bakowska. We're going to look at the profile real quick. Nikita Krylov. This been for 2 minutes. Not bad. Another guy. So Nikita Krylov, 30-11, has had already 41 fights. Majority of them comes from submission and knockouts. He only has 2 wins out of decision. So this guy is another really high level finisher. Has a lot of wear and tear on pretty much the body. He is 33. And the good thing about the heavier weight classes, they could still fight at an incredible pace the older they get. That's because speed doesn't really matter the older you are. It's just difference is very minuscule compared to like a 125, 135, 145, right? So he is come from a losing. He has lost 2 fights in a row against Dominic Reyes and Bogdan Guskov, my bad. And his last fight wins, was against Alexander Gustafsson, Volkan Ozdemir, and Ryan Spann. So pretty good wins. But it does look like this guy loses and has like a trajectory. He goes up and he goes down. It goes up to go down. He lost against Glover. He beat Johnny Walker. Lost against John Blachowicz. So this guy is one of those guys who obviously he is in the top 15. Just can't crack the top 10 or the top 5. Modesta Bukowska, he is slightly younger. He is 31 years old. A lot less fights. He has only had 25 fights compared to the 41. So this guy almost has twice as many fights that he has. Again, another finisher fighter. He does have a lot more decisions and less submissions, but he does have 11 wins by knockout. But I can see something very, very interesting. Modesta has lost by KO or TKO 4 times. That is very interesting because it does expel that he does not have a chin. And if Nikita could expose that, possibly win. The only problem is that Modesta is carrying a lot of momentum, riding a 4-fight win streak against Paul Craig, Ian Cutelaba, Rafael Cerqueira, and Marcin Prachinho, which 2 of those fights, I'm not gonna lie, this is his highest and toughest opponent against Nikita. This is his highest rank. The previous one was being Marcin Prachinho at rank number 17. Ian Cutelaba, obviously we know he's a dog, but does not have the fight IQ. He does get finished a lot. He did beat Paul Craig, which I think this is what Paul Craig ended up retiring. And those are 2 fighters that are just outside of the rankings, and they're just not that. And it's funny enough, Paul Craig is the one dude to beat Magomed Ankalaev, and this is before Jamal Hill. It was earlier Jamal Hill. So personally, I'm gonna go with Modesta. I think he's gonna crack the top 15, and Nikita's gonna be put in a bad spot. He's gonna be either cut or anything, because that'll be 3 fights he has lost in a row. I'm gonna go for Modesta. Now this guy. All right, we already shouldn't. I have to go down pretty easy. We don't have to bring up the records or nothing. I tell you about Gaethje is gonna fucking kill Andre Pulyaev. This dude is the middleweight Francis Ngannou. I mean, look at their bodies. I mean, this guy is a different specimen. I feel like this guy is not even 185. I feel like he's walking around probably 205, 207 at most. I feel like Ateba is walking at least 215. I think he has about 10 more pounds on weight against this dude. He has a little bit. They're kind of very similar in terms of the record. He has only fought 10 times, him 13. Both are last fights they have won. And they're both similar built, but the reach is only by 3 inches, which I'm actually surprised. I thought it'd be a lot more. The leg reach is, again, 3 more inches. Man, this dude is insane. Ateba, like, I generally do believe that there are purposely feeding him cans in a way, because they're trying to hype him up, give him a lot of highlights so they're able to sell. Right? This guy is a dark horse in the middleweight because he can potentially beat champion. I have not seen him deal with a lot of wrestlers. Fortunately, in the middleweight class, there is no wrestlers. Like, there really isn't. I mean, the best wrestler is Khamzat, and that's the top of the heat, right? That's it, right? Imanov is not a strong wrestler. He comes back more from a striking. DDP is just a brawler. Strickland, again, a striker. Fluffy is a wrestler, but he doesn't have like those credentials to like consistently take you down as heavy like Khamzat. Kai Borrallo, again, another striker. So a lot of this weight class is going to be dealt with a lot of strikers, right? Jared Cannonier, another striker. So Ateba, this is a phenomenal weight class for him because he doesn't have to deal with wrestlers. He's going to have to deal with a lot of striking. I mean, and plus, come on, this dude is riding a 8-fight winning streak right now. 1, 2, 3 fights in the UFC, all by knockout, right? You got a knee, you got punches, you got elbows to the ground and pound. I mean, he has already finished. His only decision fight was his first one. And then his second fight is when he got lost against Glenn Williams. That was a split decision. But since then, this dude has finished everybody, right? Andre Pulyaev, let's see here. I mean, His last loss was against earlier last year against Christian Leroy Duncan. But since then he finished Nick Klein. But from then, I mean, he's just joined the UFC. I can see he came from the Dana White Contenders back in 2024 against Leon Henderson. He beat him by decision. So, and this is another guy with a lot of finishes. You know, only 2 of his fights were come from decision. His submission and knockout. Man, very interested. I am gonna go with a Teba Gauthier. That's just more of a safe bet. But I would not be surprised if Andre pulls something out. Right? They're both in a very similar position. But I think Ateba is going to take this win. And if he does, he's going to finish him in the first round. Just this dude is legitimately a problem. Now, this is where we're going and get really interesting. I mean, from literally Ateba, Michael Johnson should have been in this one. They should have taken Nikita and put Michael Johnson in here. That's a personal opinion. Now, this one. Umar Nurmagomedov versus Deiveson Figueiredo. Umar, we already kind of talked about the Nurmagomedov family. Has only one loss against the former champ of Merab Dvalishvili. But his last fight was a win against Mario Bautista, which Mario was running a nice 4-fight winning streak or fight 5. And it came where, I mean, Umar pretty much dominated that fight. You already know his style, right? Umar is a heavy striking dominant, not as compared to his fellow brethren with Khabib, Islam, and even Usman Nurmagomedov, where they're a lot more heavier on their wrestling base. But Umar he is an overall perfect fighter. He could strike with you as a phenomenal gas tank, and he could wrestle. I mean, these guys, he is slightly bigger and taller than Deiveson Figueiredo. Davison's last fight, it was a win? I thought he fought against Corey Sandhagen, his last fight, if I'm not wrong. Oh, it was against Montel Jackson. I do remember that. Deiveson Figueiredo, all right? This is a good fight because if Deiveson miraculously wins this fight, he could gun for that title shot and get a revenge match against Peter Yan. Do I think that's going to happen? Unfortunately, no. Right? I do think that he's just in the tail end of his career. Right? He lost against Peter Yan by unanimous decision. He lost. He was finished by Corey Sandhagen. Yeah, his knee kind of was popped in a way, but he was just getting dominated. And again, those are guys in the top 5, right? You got the champion, Peter Yan. Corey Sandhagen, we already know he is the staple of a top 5 fighter. And Deiveson Figueiredo is a former champ. He was riding a 3-fight winning streak against Rob Font, Cody Garbrandt, and Marlon Vera. His best win being against Marlon Vera, who fought for the title against Sugar Sean. But it's just that Figueiredo's 38. Right? I mean, 38 and fighting at this prime is insane, right? Absolutely discipline and consistency. Like I can only give out flowers to Deiveson, right? He has fought in the who, right? Like this guy has fought Montel Jackson, Corey Sandhagen, Peter Yan, Marlon Vera, Cody Garbrandt, Brandon Moreno 4 times, beat Joseph Benavidez twice. Fought and beaten the former champion flyweight Alexander Pantoja, who a lot of people regarding as the second or even the greatest flyweight champion of all time. So Deiveson Figueiredo is not a slouch. He is definitely a top 20, top 25 fighter of all time, depending on where you want to place him. But this is going to be a tough fight, and I do think Umar gets it done. I think Umar beats him by decision. I don't see Umar finishing him. I mean, Deiveson Figueiredo is a very tough person to finish. I mean, he only has 1 submission loss and 2 knockout losses, but the rest of them has been by decision, right? 2-1. He's just a very tough person to finish-wise. Obviously, with the Corey Sandhagen was through like an injury, like I mentioned. But Umar gets it done by decision. This fight I'm very excited for. Arnold Allen versus John Silva. Now, we already know John Silva, his last fight against Diego Lopez, who should not be fighting for the title. But it is what it is, right? I don't make the rules, right? John Silva was coming in an insane win streak, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. A 13 fight win streak. He beat guys like Drew Dober. He came in last minute, went up a weight class and smoked Drew Dober. Beat Melsick. Submitted Bryce Mitchell in his own game. All right. He beat Charles Jourdain by a finish. It was insane. Like, this guy was just finishing people until he met Diego Lopez, which I think if John Silva would have came in a more or less emotional approach, I think he could have beaten Diego Lopez. But we already saw how it was. It was a spinning elbow that caught him and knocked him down to the ground, and then let Lopez fall with the ground and pound and finished him. But this John Silva is still dangerous. No matter his loss against Diego Lopez, it's just a guy who is just going to keep coming back. He is literally a dog. And there's not much I can say. We already know how he fights. He's very aggressive. He is emotional, which I think that's going to be the reason why he never becomes a champion. I just don't think John Silva will be a champ. I think he's a top 5 fighter. But I just don't see him being a champ if there's guys like Murphy or Evolov or Volkanovski still up in the 145 division. Now, this could all change on the way he approaches against Arnold Allen. Arnold Allen, you could already know, he has a little bit more experience. 20 wins, 3 losses, and those all losses coming from a decision. He is extremely difficult to be finished. I mean, Max Holloway couldn't finish him. Movsar, who honestly, it was a very close match. Arnold Allen really gave him a hard time. But Arnold Allen's best win does come against Giga, Calvin, and Dan Hooker. Those are, and so did Yusuf. But beside that, I mean, he has only lost against the top 3 in the featherweight, against Max Holloway and Movsar, right? Arnold Allen is no slouch. He is very technical, a little bit slower in the pace, and he likes to, I guess you can say a lot more, knows how to pick out his shots. So I think, and I really do like this matchup. This is like, I guess the positive about the UFC is when they put 2 great fighters to fight against each other. Do I think Gene Silva deserved a fighter above him after he lost against Diego Lopez? No, I think he had to be someone a little bit closer to his ranking because this is a big jump. Arnold is number 9. I thought he was a little bit higher. What's his rank real quick before we move on? Arnold Allen is ranked 6th in the featherweight division. John Silva is ranked 10, but for some reason they bumped him up. So we'll see. If John Silva beats Arnold Allen, he's going to go up to number 6. And I think a good matchup against John Silva next is Yair Rodriguez. I like to see Aljamain versus Lerone Murphy, or Aljamain versus Movsar 2, or Lerone Murphy versus Movsar. But that's my personal opinion. They're both in their primes of age. I mean, Arnold Allen is 31. He still has so much to do. I am going to go with John Silva. I think he gets it done. I think he finishes Arnold Allen. I think he's going to be the first one to finish Arnold Allen and makes a staple in the division. He cannot come in fighting emotionally. That's what, at the end of the video, it's going to be really mostly about him. If he comes in emotionally, like the past fights, I think Arnold Allen beats him by decision. If not, John Silva will finish him. And I think he's going to finish him on the ground. Now, we'll make this real quick. Natalia Silva versus Rose Namajunas. Natalia Silva is going to beat Rose. Natalia Silva is her. She is next up for the title fight. I do think she came in last minute, replacing, if I'm not wrong about that. But she is in a current 13 fight winning streak. I mean, that is absolutely insane. His past 2 fights were against the former champions, against Jessica Andrade and Alexa Grasso. So I just think she's going to go out there and just smoke Rose Namajunas. Rose obviously is in the tail end of her fight career. She did, last win was against Miranda Maverick, but she did lose against Erin Blankenfield. I just don't see her coming back, especially in the flyweight, where she would get killed by Valentina. I think Natalia Silva is just going to dominate her. I think she has a far better jiu-jitsu and wrestling. The striking, Rose definitely has a little bit more. But Natalia Silva, I just think she has been in the game, and this is her time to really outshine and be another former champ in the strawweight division. But this is still Rose Namajunas, who is a future Hall of Famer. And I think that just builds up her name better, and they could sell her for against Valentina. Waldo Cortez Acosta versus Derek Lewis. Boy, always rocking for Texans. Derek Lewis, always, no doubt about it. This guy is a guy that no matter how many minutes he's losing, you can never sleep or ever take away the gas pedal on him, because he will knock you out. All right. I've seen Derek Lewis and most times like this where he is picked to lose, and then he goes out there and finishes the guy. All right. This is the knockout king. All right. Waldo Cortez is a pretty tough dude. I mean, he doesn't have as much experience as Derek Lewis. He is 16-2, and he has been dominating his past fights. But I just think Derek Lewis is a little bit more athletic. He's been in the game for so long, was a former interim champ, and he has fought in the who's who, the what's. So I'm always going to go for Derek Lewis. Plus, a Derek Lewis win is good for the company. You could sell him. He's always a good time, you know. If Waldo somehow wins, I would not be surprised, but it would be by decision. Or he gets finished. Derek Lewis has been finished before multiple times. But I just think Derek Lewis just got too much power. He's too fast. He's too fast. And he's just going to find that chin against Waldo in the second or third round. Or whenever he really wants to. Honestly, as soon as he starts letting go, man, it really is just a matter of time. Now we're in the last 2 sets. Sean O'Malley versus Song Yadong. Sean O'Malley obviously is coming in a 2-fight losing streak against the former champion Merab. Song Yadong is coming in a currently win against Henry Cejudo. Song Yadong is 28. He is so young. He has so much time. I generally think people are sleeping on him. Sean O'Malley is 31. He is currently entering his prime. But, I mean, Song Yadong, his last losses were against Corey Sandhagen, Peter Yan. But he's beat people like Ricky Simon, Chris Gutierrez, Henry Cejudo, Marlon Moraes. I mean, this guy is someone that you cannot sleep on. He has power. He is so fast, right? Obviously, most of his wins do come in decision, and his losses come from a decision and only 2 knockouts. You could probably tell I'm going for Song Yadong because I like a new face, a new competition, and a new just something to see up and mix with top 5, right? Obviously, you could sell that Song Yadong lost against Peter Yan, and he could fight for a title if he finishes Sean O'Malley. But the only reason why I don't want to see Sean O'Malley, it's not because I don't like this dude. I really do. I think he's charismatic, he's funny, he is different, his fighting style is fun to watch. It's just I don't like the privilege that he gets. Like, because if he wins against Song Yadong, he jumps over Merab's rematch against Peter Yan, and he jumps over Umar if Umar beats Figueiredo. They're gonna try and do Sean O'Malley versus Peter Yan too, which Peter Yan beat him. And they robbed Peter Yan just for Sean O'Malley to have the title fight against Aljamain. Did not like that. That rubs me off the wrong way because this seems like it's a boxing promotion. And the way the UFC has been acting right now, that's most likely is going to what happen. Sean O'Malley versus Song Yadong. Man. And Song Yadong has a lot more fight experience than Sean O'Malley. But we'll see. I mean, Sean O'Malley is a lot taller. You could tell he's 5'11" compared to Song Yadong 5'8". And the reach is extremely, like 5 inches difference, right? And the leg reach is by 2-inch difference. So, and Song Yadong isn't really known for his wrestling. He's known for his striking. But if I were Song Yadong, the blueprint has been laid out by Merab. You have to take Sean O'Malley to the ground. Sean O'Malley has pretty good jiu-jitsu. I think he's a brown belt. Not crazy wrestling. Not known for his sprawling or anything. But Song Yadong, if he really wants a chance, he has to mix in with the wrestling and the striking. That's the only way to get Sean O'Malley to remember against Merab. Now, Sean definitely has improved because that's 2 fight camps in a row that he's been working heavily on his takedown defense and his wrestling. So I would not be surprised if Song Yadong tries and it fails because Sean O'Malley went up against the absolute best, had some moments of success, and was able to come out of it. My pick is for Song Yadong by decision. But I do see in a world where Sean O'Malley can clip Song Yadong. Personally, for me, I like to see Song Yadong win and move forward. That is my pick. Now the last one. Paddy Pimblett versus Justin Gaethje. Now look, let's just also be realistic here in a sense that Justin Gaethje and Paddy Pimblett are not the best lightweights fighting in the world. They're not. They're Paddy Pimblett literally had the most gifted ranking move up you've ever seen. He is not ranked number 5. All right. In reality, he's probably ranked number 11. If we're going to be really, really honest with each other. His only win against anybody in the top 15 is Michael Chandler. And Michael Chandler has been losing against Charles Oliveira, lost against Justin Gaethje, lost against Dustin Poirier, who was already retired. So, and then Paddy never beat Dan Hooker, never beat Gamrot, never fought against BSD, Rafael Fiziev, Renato Moicano. Renato's a better fighter than Paddy. Rafael's a better fighter than Paddy. Gamrot is a better fighter than Paddy. And Gamrot's been in the top 5 for so long and never got his chance for the title shot either. All right. And then even if you want to say like this is the interim for the best lightweight in the world, like this is a trophy. Because Paddy, that's what Paddy thinks, right? This thing is like this is a legit trophy. Max Holloway is above you. Charles Oliveira is above you. Armin Saruki is above you. So you're telling me that number 4 and 5 are the interim champ? This is a problem I have for the company in the way that Dana White is doing with all this gimmick fights. I like Justin. All right. I think Justin deserves for the interim. I 100% do think Justin deserves this fight. It is a Paddy that I do not agree with. This should have been Justin versus Armin. Or if you really want to push for Paddy versus Armin. Armin currently is doing a phenomenal thing. He is currently going around talking to people on interviews, doing everything he possibly can to get some viewership, to promote his name so that they could push Armin for the next fight. Paddy versus Justin Gaethje. Look, I'll be realistic here with you. I think Paddy beats Justin. This is not the same Justin that fought Dustin Poirier, that fought Khabib, that fought Tony Ferguson, that fought Charles Oliveira, that fought Michael Chandler, right? That is a prime Justin. That if Paddy were to fight that version of Justin, Paddy would lose. But this is a Justin Gaethje who is, man, he is 37 years old. Come on, you type in Justin Gaethje, you know exactly what I'm looking for. He is 37 years old. All right, he is still in the lighter division, the lightweight. And you know how it is. The older you get, just you're not as fast as you are, right? You're worn and torn. I mean, Justin has been through wars against Michael, against Tony, against Dustin, against Michael Johnson, against Eddie Alvarez. Those are wars that take away years out of your life. And the problem with Justin is that ever since he went to the UFC, right? Before that, I mean, that boy was undefeated before he got to Eddie Alvarez, right? He lost against Eddie Alvarez, lost against Dustin Poirier, beat James Vick, Edson Barbosa, Donald Cerrone, and Tony Ferguson. But since then, he has been in a... What I'm trying to say is this. Since Khabib, right, he has 1, 2, 3 losses and only 1, 2, 3, 4 wins. You see the math I'm trying to make? I'm not discrediting Justin Gaethje. I'm not. I'm just saying that fight takes away a lot out of your body and your mind. And this is his last chance for the title. Paddy is coming with so much momentum, so much backup, so much privilege. He is currently on a 9-fight winning streak, with the majority of them being a submission. Look, ever since he got into the UFC, right, his only fight that technically he lost was against Jared Gordon, but he did beat Tony Ferguson by decision. He did beat King Green, and he did beat Michael Chandler, right? He actually probably was the one who beat Michael Chandler the worst out of everybody. So I'm stuck in a position where I'm thinking like, man, I do want to see Justin fight against Ilya. But Ilya would knock out Justin, and I just don't want to see that. I really don't. I don't want to see Justin get knocked out like it happened to Max Holloway, because that is something that it just will affect you in the future. And Paddy will sell the most against Ilya. Paddy will lose against Ilya, but we'll also need to see where Ilya's mindset is at after the divorce. And obviously, the UFC wants Paddy to win. So if it comes down to a decision, I'm sorry to say, man, they're going to give it to Paddy. Even if Justin smokes him for 5 rounds, those judges are paid to make sure that Paddy wins. And I don't like to talk like that. I really don't. I don't like to seem like someone who's hating on the dude because he's trying to make his dreams come true. But he definitely does have a certain privilege that he is able to execute and when needed to. Just like what happened to Sean O'Malley versus Pirion. Same thing happened against Gane versus Volkov. This is the same situation where if UFC wants to push for a certain fighter to the top, they'll do whatever they can to make sure that it happens. Paddy Pimblett will win. And honestly, it's either two things can happen. Either Justin somehow makes a mistake of going to the ground. I don't think he's going to shoot. But somehow, if it gets to the ground, Paddy's going to get him in rear naked and summon. Paddy's jiu-jitsu is high level, elite level. This dude can't compete probably in ADC. Would he win? I don't think so. But he can place pretty high. And he is known for that. He's not known for his wrestling. Hardly does he doesn't even shoot for any takedowns. Look, right? Takedown average. Jesus, he has a higher takedown than Justin Gaethje. But it's not super successful. Obviously, I can't really talk about Justin's takedown accuracy either. But Justin has a better takedown defense, right? So, what I'm trying to say is this. Paddy is definitely the better grappler. But Justin won't shoot to get him to the ground. And I could see Paddy Pimblett doing his best to get Justin to the ground, which is pretty difficult. In the striking, you definitely have to get to Justin. Paddy's chin is up in the air. He lets himself to be exposed too much. And he just has awful fundamentals. I don't know who is his striking coach, but that dude should get fired. I generally, dude, you were doing such a bad job because you're letting this guy If he fought against Ilya will knock him out. That will happen. Like, your chin cannot take that damage. You are human in the end of the day. And Ilya will make sure that happens. But I see Paddy Pimblett win this fight by a submission, either on the 3rd or 4th round. And I'd see Paddy versus Ilya at the White House. Again, this is my picks. You go down if you want. I just think that this is pretty accurate. This is pretty strong start of the year. We'll go more on the next week's UFC with Volkanovski versus Lopez too. And we'll see you in the next video. Thank you. Hit like, hit comments, subscribe if you enjoyed this video. And we'll be streaming later as well. You see that on my Twitch and my Kick channel. Thank you and have a good rest of your week. And I'll see you at the fight.